Okay, Diebold is pushing the boundaries for connecting commerce, here with more on the Extreme ATM. It's a new machine and other automation initiatives. Andy Matisse is here, he's the CEO. Good morning.
Morning.
So what is the Extreme ATM?
It's a combination of digital with physical in a very small form factor.
What does that mean?
You combine your cash with your mobile phones, with your mobile apps, and you do that in a footprint that's as small as 1.5 times the size of a US dollar bill.
So we're showing one of these machines here. So you would go up to this machine here. You would what? You wouldn't use a card. So there's no card reader in this thing.
Correct.
And it's going to use my fingerprint. It's going to use my phone. How's it work?
You identify yourself with your smartphone. You can swipe your phone. You can identify yourself with a biometrics, with a fingerprint. It recognizes you. It has a personalized interface that's special to you. And then you can perform any transaction that you've pre-staged on your phone or you want to do there right on the screen.
Okay, what about, well, we were talking right before the break, Joe was making a joke about Venmo, but it's not a joke, which is to say, I carry, and I will tell this to people in case they want to mug me on the street, I carry no cash. Zero cash, not a dollar.
Stay away from me, there's nothing to get here.
There's nothing to get. I don't have a dollar.
There are other reasons that you do that.
Because I'm cheap.
Right, I mean, it's like, oh.
I don't have any.
But, no, but these days, even in a taxi, you can use the ATM machine.
Let me get the check just like that alligator. Oh.
But what do you do? What does a company like yours do in a cashless world?
Well, you know, a lot of people saying that the death of cash is imminent, but it sure is not happening anytime soon. If you take a look at the number of US dollars bill in circulation, they're actually up 60% over the last 13 years. We track the number of ATM withdrawals, and we correlated a curve 15/16, and it spikes every other week when people get their paychecks. And there's no change in the amount. The average US household goes to the machine every other week to pick up money.
Is there any demographic number on that? I mean, I'm curious, dare I say the millennials. Do the millennials use the ATM machine as much or more than their parents?
Interesting enough, they have a higher likelihood of using cash than any other age group.
Really?
Which, yeah, but it has a lot to do with the fact that they don't get credit and they don't have carry cards.
All of us probably went through that at that age, too.
And what the other question I was going to ask is, what are these machines going to start doing more and more? I mean, not just about getting cash, but getting other things. I mean, I know there's some machines now you get stamps and other things like that, but at what point does it explode into other items?
We can automate just about everything in a retail bank but a notarized signature. You can do loan, you can do inquiries, you can do robo-advice on your stock picking. You can connect the machine to any channel there is.
How much does it cost to buy one of these machines?
That's about 20, 30 grand.
So 20, 30 grand, and you think it replaces how many people in a bank?
It can easily replace the work that a teller does, and there's around about 500,000 tellers in our country, and there's around about 3.4 million cashier clerks in our country.
And do you expect them, I mean, not all of them to lose their jobs, but you look out 5 years, and what do you think happens?
I think that the teller in the branch is going to go the same way that the ticket agents went at an airline.
And what's going to happen to the branch itself? Because I know you look around New York City real estate, and there's a bank virtually on every corner.
Well, the banks are getting smaller. The interesting thing is when you ask people why they bank with the institute that they're with, it's always proximity to the home or proximity to the office. So the banks cannot leave the neighborhood, but they want to do that at a very small, very efficient footprint. Ideally, you do a branch in a box in the machine. You can actually have the machine in a retail outlet in a store.
What are you thinking, Joseph?
I like using ATMs. I was actually thinking, have you seen the guys tie the rope around it and pull the whole machine out and steal that? Have you seen our Diebold?
You have the strangest mind.
What have you seen? You've
Yes,
seen that,
I've
right?
seen that.
You can't do that with a Diebold machine, can you?
No, they've got bolts that are about a foot long into the ground. It's a constant race against the bad guys.
It's amazing.
In Brazil, they like to put in a stick of dynamite into the dispense slot because it's so easy to get to. And we actually developed a machine where the upper part would explode, but the safe would stay intact.
So you guys stay one step ahead of those guys.
That's exactly the race we're in. Yes, every day.
It's amazing.
What about the security, though? I mean, because did we ever talk about this? Someone had skimmed my card. You know about skimming?
Oh, yes. It's a $2 billion problem.
Where they put a thing inside where you put your card in.
Oh, and it steals your number.
They steal
from
the
that?
number, and then they took out money in Petah Tikva, Israel. They were taking out money from my account every week, just little bits, and I wasn't really paying attention, to be honest, until I.
Must have been very little.
Thank you, sir. But how big an issue is that for you? And is there liability for you, or is it the liability on the bank?
The liability is on the bank, but we're here to help the banks. So here you go back. The minute that you use biometrics, you can't skim your fingerprint.
Right.
The minute you use your mobile phone.
There will be a day where people can figure out the fingerprint.
Yeah, but even on the fingerprint, we actually check whether there's blood in the veins so that the people won't cut off your finger and take your finger to the machine.
Ah,
Oh, wow.
You got to think
thank
about
you for that.
You got to think through all types of.
Okay, last question. Would you use a machine that's not in a bank, meaning there's all of these sort of off-piste ATM machines, right? Whether they're at a deli or in Vegas, where they like to charge you, a ransom for every dollar you try to take out. Would you use those machines or no?
If they're from Diebold Nixdorf, I definitely would.
Okay.
What do you do to make sure my eye is still in my socket? Like before you get into optical verification?
It reads the iris, so it's got to be
No benefit
alive.
in taking that either, right?
Nope.
Okay, thank you.
Wow. So have you ever, if you know they're going to charge you $2,
Yes.
do you take the maximum amount?
Absolutely.
Always, I do.
Everybody does that?
Yeah.
Is that what you do? No, if they're going to take $2, yes, you have to take the
I'm not-
maximum amount. Otherwise,
I'm
it's
going to take at least
too much.
200, so it's only
To lower the
1%,
percentage.
yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you go to those ones, you know what I'm talking about in Vegas. What's
like $5
what's the highest charge you've seen?
It's probably $8.
$8. And how much can you take
That's
out
probably a
for
little bit
at $8?
It depends on what the bank or the institute allows you to do. I mean, we can set up the machine any way you want it to, but the machines, for instance, in Saudi, we've got machines that can spit up $20,000, $30,000 at a time.
Oh,
way.
gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
These machines carry $250,000 at any given point in time.
Which is why you
So-
have to think so much about the security.
Right. You probably don't even go to a machine that's going to. I try to find a machine of my bank, right?
I try to find one that's free.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, you drive you
Well,
spend
no,
hours.
the benefit, I don't know if I should say, I'm a Chase, and they have free ones at Duane Reade, and there's a lot of Duane Reades in New York
Okay.
City. So that's a very big benefit.
Good idea. I mean,
It's all our software, so
That's
you're
your
safe.
software? Are
Yes.
those Diebold, those machines?
It's different hardware, but it's our software.
Okay, great. That was interesting. Thanks. We all like.
Thanks. Thank you.